Today's theme, if you hadn't caught it yet, is about Thanksgiving, gratitude, etc., etc. And so I'm trying to. Okay, yeah. Sometimes you try to go from one way, and then you're like, nope, that's not going to work. Let's go the other way. So thanks for riding the road with me. So there was. When you think of those moments in your life where you're just like, wow, that was a really moment. That was an important moment, right? For me, one of those moments that was really touched me was, oh goodness, what year was that? 2005. And I had been working on young adult ministry and unity with a group of other young adults, and we were passionate and pushy and all of those things that you are when you want to get things done. And we were all coming together in Kansas City, which is where Unity's headquarters is, for this conference with a bunch of other people. And life had been a little rough for me. At this point, I already probably knew that my first husband and I were going to not be together very much longer, and he was not pleased with me going off to do more Unity stuff. Guess who won? Unity did. And so anyway, so I get off my plane, and the cool thing about Kansas City Airport is that it's not like you have to go down a long terminal to get out to where the regular people can greet you. They're like right there, right? So like when you get out of the gate, the people who are on the other side of security waiting for you are like as far away as the door out there, right? It's pretty great. So I come out, I go through and I walk out, and there's this group of people that I've been working on all of these things just standing there waiting for me. And I felt so connected, like my arrival was important and anticipated and waited for. And that was one of those moments, later on when you're like, I need to feel a moment of like deep appreciation. That's one of those moments. And the reason why I have kind of put a pin in that moment, and it's because not long after that, well, first of all, not long after that, I moved to Kansas City and started working for Unity, and, the train started moving down the track really, really fast for me as far as, like, getting to be a minister and all that. So, but that moment was so important because not long after that, I learned this great tool called Heart Math. And Heart Math based on the feeling of appreciation, which is adjacent to gratitude. Not quite the same, but adjacent to. But we're going to talk about it anyway because I like it. And so, so when you use Heart Math, you think about a time, something that you appreciate. So it could be your beloved pet. It could be a person or a relationship. It could be a moment in time like that. It could be the sunrise in the mountains. One of those moments, right? Those awe feelings. Because when you have that feeling of appreciation in you, it changes the physiology of your body. Heart Math, they have done all these studies, and the heart signals they have an effect on the brain signals. When we're in sync, it actually changes how the whole body system works. And it works better. So that's a good thing. What's a good thing to know how to do? And so when I was learning these skills and learning about appreciation, it was very helpful because if you start with that kind of heart lock, where we're bringing ourselves into a coherent state, well, everything else seems to slide into place a little bit easier. So coming from a sense of appreciation actually makes our life work better. Anybody want a little bit of that? Yeah? So we're going to practice that in a minute. And some of you know I was at the Parliament of World Religions a couple weeks ago in Toronto with 10,000 people from 70 countries, from over 200 faith traditions. Wow. Wow. Well, there's probably 200 different versions just of Christianity if you want to get specific. But yeah, there's just so many, right? And wow. So anyway, it was amazing. And I went to lots of workshops and saw lots of keynotes. And there was lots of, anyway, I could go down that rabbit trail, but that's not where we're going today. It's just amazing. But I had a couple really things that touched me so much that I actually wrote them down. Because, when you're at these kind of conferences, there's so much information. Sometimes you just have to be just okay, I'm just going to sit in the waves of it and not try to nail it down because it's too much. Because if you try to start writing things down, then you miss the next thing that they said, right? But a few things I did actually write down. And this is from Larry Merkulif, who is actually an Alaskan native and lives here in Anchorage now. But of course, I heard him out there in Toronto, and he was. And one of the things he said, the only place that you can get the answer is to go to the heart. And then a little bit later he said, the most unselfish thing that you can do to heal the world is to heal your heart. And he talked a lot about the things going on in the world and the environment and all of these things. And he still says the most important thing you can do is to go to your heart. And I didn't write down when he was talking about it, but he was talking about the moving from the head to the heart. He was talking about that moving from that analytical knowledge base of book knowledge to heart knowledge. Not that you don't need both. You do need both. But that when we come into that place, this is where we're coming back into the appreciation. Here it comes. When we come into that place where we have both going on, then we're able to use all of our knowledge, both our heart knowledge and our head knowledge, more efficiently. We let the heart steer instead of the head steer. And so we should practice. So when we're thinking about the practice of appreciation, of coherence, heart math, these types of things, we think about that, something that we deeply appreciate, right? Now, it can be a person that is still in your presence. Sometimes that makes things a little complicated, so just be mindful of that. So, people who practice appreciation and heart math off sometimes have a menu of a few things that are their go-tos, and that's why I chose that moment. Because I felt it because you want something that really almost takes your breath away, and that's strength of appreciation. And if you don't know what that is right now, that's okay, but we're going to practice anyway. So some people like to put their hand on their heart because it helps center in. If you want to close your eyes, you can close your eyes. And so we just bring to our mind and to our heart someone or something we appreciate deeply. And we breathe into that appreciation. Allowing that feeling of appreciation to permeate the heart. And spread throughout the body as a bright light. we feel that syncing up with the body, with that appreciation energy, we just send that out. That feeling of appreciation and coherence beyond the walls of this room, beyond our state, and around the world. And so it is. Feel synced up? And now if you were going to practice this yourself, you might do it longer. Just sit in that feeling of appreciation. But it's just a little tool. And it's a little bit longer than a breath, but a breath, that's all you got, that's all you got. But when you can do that heart sync, it can really change how you deal with things, how life happens for you. So to bookend the story I told you at the beginning, yesterday morning, I think it was still morning for me, I got a Facebook message from a friend of mine from way back in the day, and it was a few of us on the group, and said, "Hey, how's everybody doing? Can we get together and Skype tonight?" Now, this is unusual because this has never happened before, that we've done that, and we were all like, "Oh yeah, sure, okay." And so we got together, and this was for, including me, the sum of the same people that were in that group that story I told you at the beginning. It was the group of people who passionate about having people, place for young people who we grew up in unity and all of this stuff, and mostly we just sort of keep track of each other's lives on Facebook and haven't been super connected. But here we are, we're on a video call with each other, and after a little bit kind of like, hey, this, like a little bit of awkwardness of like, well, I haven't talked to you for real in like a long time. It was just like the old days, and it was like real connection and real catching up and real like caring, and the call ended with "Love you guys, love you," like all of that, and we're all over the country, right? We had Florida, Detroit, Minneapolis, and Anchorage. So it was getting a little late for them, but I was like, and so it's, for me, it's like, oh wow, now I've got another little moment, not that I haven't had other moments to add to my thing, but to just really feel that connection and appreciation of something important happening. Like we were in the same, we were in coherence together, right? We were in the same place. Our hearts were connected. And so, I said a couple years ago on my Thanksgiving talk about the word appreciation. Appreciation is what it also means something raises in value, right? We talk about it when money-wise, means something raises in value. So think about that when what we appreciates, raises in value, becomes more. Something that. So Meister Eckhart said, you've probably heard, if the only prayer you ever say is thank you, it will be enough. I'm not sure I totally agree.
Whoa.
I know, right? Here we go. Because I want to take it deeper than that. If you say thank you from that deep place of appreciation and connectedness, then I agree. But I think that sometimes we just, oh, thank you, it's kind of used so much that it loses some of the deepness of the words. We use a lot of our words that way. We run into somebody, oh, sorry. I just love the whatever. I mean, we do that, but a lot of our words, we have lost some of their value. And so I think that thank you maybe has lost some of that too. So my challenge for you is to take it deeper. To really go from thank you to gratitude, to appreciation, to something really with depth and honesty and a feeling that is juicy and real. And when we say thank you, that the person who we're saying thank you to feels that kind of that blast of gratitude. So let's make Meister Eckhart right again. That's the challenge. So that's my challenge for you as we have our Thanksgiving blessing, we have our potluck. We get to be grateful to be together. We get to be at appreciation where I have some delicious food. Always. And the most grateful thing for me is that we get to all be here together and that the weather cooperated today. So we could